Mindset is incredibly important because it influences how we see the world, how we react to challenges, and ultimately how we live our lives. G'day, I'm Debra Caldow. Welcome to the Red Giraffe Solutions Expanding Worlds podcast, where we aim to support you as you help your young person with additional needs plan for their future, a future where they're safe, secure, and live a rewarding and fulfilling life. From around the world, I share stories and I share solutions from people making this possible right now. I'm a parent of a young person with additional needs, so I understand the challenges. Many of the people I've interviewed on this podcast have already helped me design a better future for my daughter, and I hope that they might help you as well to imagine what's possible for your young person. This podcast is made possible by Red Giraffe Solutions, which is a project I'm proud to be part of, supporting families to build a better future for their children. We now have available at Red Giraffe Solutions an online course called Independent Cooking Made Easy. This is a new and unique approach we developed when we realised traditional cooking techniques and recipes were never going to enable our daughter to cook without some support or supervision. It's a safe, simple system that uses no more than 5 ingredients, has no weighing, cutting or chopping, and no lifting of heavy dishes. Each of the 16 recipes in the course includes a step-by-step video of our daughter making the meal, plus a visual recipe card. We developed this for our daughter to solve her challenges with cooking, and every recipe in the course she can and does genuinely cook for herself. You can find a link to the course in this episode's show notes. Like everyone, there are those days when I think about the worst case scenarios, because it's hard to be optimistic every single day. And there are times when things don't go the way we want for our young people. And ultimately, as their main advocate, we're the ones that guide them through most of those days. Because the reality is that everyone else will move on. If they work, that might be their manager. If they have support needs, that might be their support worker. The medical professionals around them will change. Recently, this has been happening a lot for my daughter, as she ages out of young people's hospital into adult services. In fact, the other day, we saw for the last time one of her consultants who she first met when she was a year old. To be honest, I don't think she really cared, but for me it was an impactful moment in time. This person has been a constant in our lives for 22 years, and I know they've come to know my daughter really well. So it was a moment in her life, but probably much more of a moment in my life, and another reminder that we're both getting older. So whilst I'm definitely not one of those eternally positive people, over the years I have learnt the power of positive thinking and why it matters, particularly for our young people who face more negativity than they ever should. So the mindset I have and what I pass to her has been a key part of getting her to where she is today, and will be a key to the life that she designs for herself without me. So what do I mean by mindset? Well, whenever I think of mindset, I always think of the two words separately, mindset, as in the way that we set our minds to something. When most people talk about mindset, though, they come at it from the idea of having a positive mindset. And that's what it should be, of course. But actually, I think we all know plenty of people who have a mindset that definitely isn't positive. But it's still a mindset regardless. I've met those people along the way with my daughter. They're the ones that tell you no, or that's not possible. And I don't want to keep saying the same things about the barriers our young people face from discrimination and negative stereotypes. This ableism is something we all know about for our young people, and it's their lived experience. That's the fight that continues every day for all of us, and one we keep doing for our children. And in a sense, that's one reason why mindset is so important, because it can be used as a shield against ignorance. Because it's so easy for our young people to internalise these negative societal messages, which then leads to self-doubt and limiting beliefs about what they're capable of. Negative thoughts can only ever lead to negative emotions. Mindset is incredibly important because it influences how we see the world, how we react to challenges, and ultimately how we live our lives. Our mindset is really like a filter, influencing what information we notice and how we interpret it. This can lead to what is known as confirmation bias, where we prioritise information that reinforces what we already believe to be true. Our beliefs and attitudes drive our actions. A positive mindset is much more likely to lead to proactive behaviour. If our young people have a growth mindset, that is, they believe abilities can be developed, then they are much more able to learn from their failures and persevere. Mindset plays a crucial role in how we go about achieving our goals. So how do we work on creating a positive mindset? The first thing I think is practice positive self-talk. This applies equally to us and to our children. It is about becoming aware of negative thoughts and listening to those internal conversations that often run through our minds. Like I said at the beginning, there are days when I forget all of my own advice. But in those moments, I try to talk to myself with a bit of kindness and compassion, the same way as I would to a friend. When it comes to our children, we must be the ones telling them they can do it. And of course, providing the scaffolding to help make it possible as well. But it's also about how they see us react as well. When they see us embrace challenges, they see that as the better option. When we view difficulties as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than obstacles, they see that as the best response. We need to show them how to reframe negative thoughts, moving from I failed to I learned valuable lessons. But of course, it's also essential that we get and give feedback in an honest, open way, so that we really do have a chance to learn from our mistakes and get better next time. If anyone was to ask me the skills I've developed most over the years, it would be persistence and perseverance. And these are the skills our young people need too, because with them they will come to understand that failure is a natural part of the learning process. Another thing we can do for ourselves and our children is surround ourselves with positive influences. When we spend time with supportive people, it uplifts us. And of course, limiting exposure to negativity, be that negative people or negative inputs, like some social media, will help as well. Of course, social media is a whole long discussion within itself, but I've always found that the pleasure that my daughter gets from going on social media is very quickly outweighed by the negative input that it has on her mindset. Too much of the entertainment that she taps into involves making other people feel bad or look bad, and it's hard to see how that promotes a positive mindset for anyone. And if mindset is developed by our engagement with positive influences, then it makes sense that another way to develop a positive mindset is to get involved in activities that make you feel good or hobbies that bring you joy. And again, one of the criticisms of social media, and one that I agree with, is that it tends to take us away from these activities and hobbies that perhaps we would be better off doing than endlessly doom scrolling. Mindset, though, is one of those things that doesn't come quickly. And whether that's a positive or negative mindset, it takes time to develop. The biggest danger, I think, as well, is that mindset is something that needs to be practiced. And because of that, it's important to set realistic goals, so it's much easier to keep that positive mindset. To see that progress is possible, you need things that feel achievable, that feel doable. It's also about focusing on progress, not focusing on perfection. Setbacks are going to happen, but also success looks different for everybody. Celebrate victories and celebrate victories that make sense to you and your young person. I know what my daughter considers a major victory would be for other people something small, but that's really not the point. The point is that she should celebrate her successes and through that build on her growth mindset that tells her in her own head how much she can do. Our mindset shapes our reality, and while it's never too late to change our mindset, there can come a point where we have left it too late to support our young people to develop a mindset that sets them up for a successful future. By helping them to cultivate a positive and growth-orientated mindset, we can ensure that they unlock all of their potential and live their best lives. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that the stories and solutions shared on here help you as you support your young person to create their future. If you know anyone who would find the ideas useful, please share the podcast with them. To support the podcast, please consider finding out more about the Independent Cooking Made Easy online course. It's a safe, simple system that works. There are links to the course in the show notes. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at Debra Caldow. I'd love to have a conversation with you on any of the topics we all care about. Bye for now.